No one thinks it's interesting. No one thinks it's real. He didn't do any of that. He was like, oh, it's an honor for me to step into the ring with such a legend. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. All of this. It's like, everyone knows where it's coming from. You're not doubling down. You should double down. If anything, show that there's some bad blood there.
All right, I'm going to kick off with a pretty massive UFC 305 card on the weekend. Obviously, Dricus versus Israel was the main event, but we were going to start off with a bit of controversy in one of the earlier fights.
Mate, it's the same old thing with UFC and with boxing. We see it far too often that Tai Tuivasa, and I don't even want to say his name and try and pronounce it and get butchered for that, but one-sided fight with Tuivasa getting absolutely dominated, but then the judges' scorecards roll around and somehow one judge scored it 30-27 for Tuivasa.
Howie Boo scores it 30-27 Tuivasa.
Every single person that had watched the fight just was left asking the question, what the f*** just happened? Because there's no way to have watched that fight and gone, yeah, that's how it should be. The only acceptable thing is he put the scores in the wrong column, or he filled the card out before the fight even began and just sat there just talking to someone next to him, because there's no reasonable way to have watched that and scored it 30-27 for Tuivasa. He was shit in that fight.
They actually said that in the commentary. They were like, "Did he go to the bathroom halfway through?"
That's the only thing that makes sense, because there's no way to have that he won that fight. Watch it, even if you are a diehard Bam Bam fan, you couldn't sit there and watch that and go, "Yeah, he won that." He'd never landed anything meaningful throughout the whole fight.
Look, watching it, I was like, they kept bringing up the stats, the punch stats. The punch stats were dead set, like completely. They were ridiculously one-sided and ridiculously off. You can say Bam Bam didn't land anything, but like Rozenstruik didn't either. He didn't land anything for the first round. I could have gone either way. Like 29-28, perfectly fine to Rozenstruik. He won the second round. Like Bam Bam started well in the second round, and then he kicked Rozenstruik's knee. And then that changed the fight. Like, it was just all one-way traffic from then. But yeah, 30-27 to Bam Bam. No one, there's not a person, the most biased Australian fan would never say that. Like, there was no chance. But this is Bam Bam. Bam Bam doesn't win points.
Nah.
He wins a first-round knockout or a second-round knockout, and that's it. But, I was really troubled by the way that he actually fought this fight, because he didn't look like Bam Bam. Like, Bam Bam is best when he's disrespectful. When he comes out there and he's like, I don't give a who you are. I'm going to knock you out as soon as I can. That's when he wins. But the training that he's had at the moment, he's a brawler. He's not an MMA fighter. He's not anything like that. He's not, technique is not something that looks good on Bam Bam, because he looks like he's in between these worlds where he kept trying to do these front kicks, and they were kind of completely ineffectual, because they're trying to train the dog out of him. Don't train the dog out of him. Let him be the dog. The dog is what got him to the verge of fighting for a title.
Yeah, he was getting off balance with those kicks anyway. They were totally sort of throwing him off. And I am the most biased Australian fan, and there's no way. And first of all, I was amazed it went longer than one round. I was amazed there was no knockout at all. I mean, I think that's what we all expected between them.
Yeah, but when they just circle around each other for the first round, you're like, come on, you knew which way it was going to go.
It was very standoffish. I think Rozenstruik knew he had control of the fight really from start to finish. He just sort of did what he had to do. He was wary of, Tua has the knockout punch, but he never really threatened it. It was totally against his style. But look, I was taking breaks in between fights, and so I missed the score. You just go, oh well, that's 3 rounds to nil. See you later. Forget about it. Take a break. Come back, and then I hear the commentator saying one of the judges has just been sacked, and I thought, hang on. First of all, the UFC has actually taken action against a terrible score, which we never see happening in combat fights. So good on them for actually taking action, but what the hell was this guy smoking every single round to the Aussie is just ridiculous. I mean, and I agree. The punch count seemed lopsided, even though it was lopsided in the fight, it seemed even way more extreme in the numbers that they were showing us. But Rosenstrike was doing a lot more than Ty was doing.
Oh, see, I disagree. I don't think he was doing all that much. He just landed the better punches, and Tua just Ty just kept missing. Oh no, I didn't think so.
He did so. Bam Bam was just throwing, and
No, look, Rosenstrike was landing,
not landing. Yeah, Rosenstrike continuously landed, and they weren't telling shots. It was like both men were afraid of the other's power, so they wanted to fully engage. But Bam Bam,
you are a heavyweight.
Bam Bam didn't land anything that was noteworthy throughout the fight.
I think Rosenstrike knew that he just had him. He just looked too comfortable for me, so he just did what he had to do to get the win.
And just wear him out. Like, he just, they got through the first round, and I reckon he was like, yep, this is mine. Like, the Ty landed a couple of good ones in the second round, and then it was just, It
was also very one-dimensional. No one really tried anything. There was not a lot of time.
Honestly, that's Tuivasa. He just goes for the knockout. That's it. Like, if he's not going for the knockout, he's not winning the fight.
Then be more aggressive. Get on the front.
Yeah, he needed to.
Actually, try to hit the bloke. It was a strange fight. Not as strange as that scorecard. Outside of the judging controversy, we obviously had the main event. Look, I got to say, guys, my interest in UFC has really gone down a fair bit in the last few years. I mean, Conor McGregor was the peak for me. And then we seem to be missing the big names, the big fights. But I was pumped for this main event. I'm an Izzy fan. I wanted to see him win. As soon as I saw he's 35 and Dricus is 30, there was just immediate red flags, over that for me. And we're seeing more and more this record of the guys aged 35 years or over in the welterweight division. I guess now it's 2-23 in title fights, and Tyrone Woodley's the only one to actually win those fights aged over 35. We saw Volkanovski said, I'm going to defy this bullshit, stat, and then he didn't, and he lost. So I was worried. I thought Dricus started really well, and then I thought Izzy actually worked his way into the fight and was starting to look pretty confident at one stage, and me wanting him to win, I was, those nerves were going a bit, and I thought, I think you can maybe do this. And then in a split second, Dricus gets those couple of head punches in and then does the perfect, rear naked choke, and it's over, and it just turns so quickly. The biggest thing for me is, where does Izzy go from here? He's just had 12 title fights in a row, which is an insane run of major fights. But I fear this could be the end of the style bend already. Where does he go from here? He's going to have to probably have a title eliminator or whatever. So this really puts his career in doubt for me.
Honestly, I have this problem with UFC where these guys just don't know when to quit. Like, how long have we been talking about Conor making a comeback? I don't care anymore.
No, it's not happening.
No, but
I don't. Oh God!
Why?
But it's so. But that just shows the weakness of the sport. That there are no other personalities.
No.
Well, who's coming through? That Adesanya has a big mouth, and he runs it. But now he's lost 3 of his last 4 fights. So you're saying, where has he got to go in his career? I 100% agree, because he's now got to come back up from, or not the bottom, but from lower down. He has to beat some guys that he's already beaten to get back up to fight Dricus. Again, assuming he maintains it, but I don't know. I just after the fight, you're just waiting for them to say something, and Dricus said nothing. It was a hard fight to actually cover, because it was a really good fight that changed on a dime. It was fantastic in that way, and then it just dropped off. I didn't care. I didn't care.
The post fight was a big letdown, but the fight itself was amazing. Mainly because I can't fucking stand Izzy, and it was so good to watch him lose. And you're right. He's not guaranteed another fight with Dricus. He's going to probably have to take on Bobby Knuckles or Sean Strickland or Paulo Costa, whoever. But it probably would have been the perfect time for him to say, I'm going to step back, I'm going to reassess, and if I come back, I come back. If not, that might be it. Because he's had arguably the greatest middleweight run that the UFC's ever seen. Can't take that away from him. But if he keeps going and going at the rate that he has been, it's only going to tarnish his historic record and career that he has built.
The walk-up Hall of Famer if he retires.
100%.
And look, the build-up was feisty. We had all this, I'm a real African, you're not, all this stuff. It was a really actually pretty juicy, but it gave us something to write about, Mertz.
Yeah.
No, but it's bullshit. It does. No one cares. No one finds it. No one thinks it's interesting. No one thinks it's real. Because then after the fight, they're not just like, oh, yeah, see, like, I'm the real, like, like, he didn't do any of that. He was like, oh, it's an honor for me to step into the ring with such a legend. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. All of this. It's like, everyone knows where it's coming from. You're not doubling down. You should double down. If anything, show that there's some bad blood there. Or, find a different way to sell the fight. It doesn't sell the fight for me. It just, too many people are doing it. Boxing, this is the whole boxing world now, and no one cares. No one gives a shit what Tim Tszyu has to say in the lead up to a fight when he's like, oh, I hate this guy, because then he hugs him at the end of the fight.
I think Stylebender is pretty much done. You almost want him to finish. I mean, unless you guys want to see him continue to get beaten up, you
no. Well, I wouldn't. But no, I agree. Put the gloves down, walk away. The same with Volk for mine. Just retire.
Volk too. Yeah.
I love Volk. I fucking love Volk. He's like a legend, Hall of Famer, all of those things.
But time to walk away.
But this is the problem with fighters who don't know when to give up, and they start getting knocked out. And I just have this theory with fighters who get knocked out, like he got knocked out against Islam when he got the head kick and like was completely knocked out. Yeah. That there's a certain time when they get their lights put out that is like, it's just easier to knock their lights out from then on. And we saw that the next fight. Like
so many times. Like Ronda Rousey was a classic. And she lost fight. She was just done from that point on, although she tried to get it back. But halfway through that Adesanya fight, I thought, wow, he's that good, and I love him. And look, I know that he's a bit of unconventional or whatever, but keep in mind, this bloke beat Pereira a few years ago, and look at what he's done since.
He also lost to Pereira, and then
not just once, lost to him multiple times.
Yeah.
Okay, but he also beat him, and look at what he's doing to the rest of the sport at the moment. But halfway through the fight, I thought maybe he's going to defy this Father Time thing, and then in a second, it's over. So
yeah, look, the Pereira thing, I was like, okay, yeah, Adesanya lost to Pereira. Like, wow, that was like crazy fight that he lost, and then he won it back, and it's like, oh, okay, here we go, and then he lost to Strickland, and I was like, yeah, I'm not feeling great about Izzy anymore.
And now Strickland's sort of not doing anything. Like we need some of these blokes with personalities to really stand up.
All right, gents. Speaking about personalities, we had one on Saturday night in the Port Adelaide versus Adelaide, the showdown. Josh Rochelli, sort of in the lead up to the game, continuously delivered some pot shots at Port fans, saying that they had little to no teeth.
I did mention on Nova before that the Port supporters don't have many teeth, so that was
decided to kick a goal and then ran to the crowd and showed off his teeth, which all in a bit of fun. But then on Sunday morning, the fun police came to town, and Kane Corns wasn't a fan and basically called Josh Rochelli the laughing stock of the AFL. And I to a point get where Kane is coming from with it. If you're gonna go out and do that, you've got to be able to sort of back it up. And Rochelli didn't really back it up on the Saturday night, but we want these personalities in the game. So that was where sort of the vitriol came in Kane's defence. And I don't know about you guys, but I can see both sort of sides of it. JD, I'm not sure where you landed on it.
No, I don't see both sides. Kane Corns, you douchebag. You said fun police. That's perfect. Get over yourself, mate. We need personalities in this sport. It's so vanilla. It's so rehearsed. Man, I covered footy for years, and if I got another person saying I just need to play my role this week, I was going to, I don't know what I was going to do. I was going to quit on the spot. But look, I agree that backing it up would help. Not shirking some contests would help. But we need a bit of this. And look, it wasn't the most original joke ever. I mean, the no teeth thing's been going on for years. But where's the real harm in it? He's going to be public enemy number one to Port Adelaide, which is fine. Port won the game. Their fans walk away happy, whatever. The Crows fans would have loved Rochelli trying to give it to the Port, supporter base and whatever. We need more of this. Look, I think maybe Matthew Nix needs to have a conversation with Rochelli. Maybe he would rather he wasn't coming out with this bulletin board kind of material type stuff. But come on, Kane, this is ridiculous. And even the way that he delivered it, and keep in mind he's a 300-game Port Adelaide player, just saying. But the way that he delivered, his whole thing, like so deadpan, so serious. We need a bit of colour in the sport.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I loved the scene. It was a pretty bloody good goal as well. And then, like, running over to the crowd and seeing all the Port fans, like, flipping him off and everything. It was just like it ignited that game. It probably won Port the game, if anything. Like, it woke them up after half-time. But, yeah, I just Kane's comments were like way off base, and I get where you're coming from with like Rachele. Like, he needs to be better if you're going to come out and do that stuff. You need to back it up. But leading into the game, he doesn't know what's going to happen. No one knows what's going to happen. You don't know how you're going to react. Like, they're all acting instinctively. Like when he pulled out of that play just before. I'm sure he didn't go out there going like, oh, yeah, I'm going to really, like, shirk my responsibility here. He kicked a bloody good goal, brought him right back into the game. They ended up taking a lead into halftime. Like, it really ignited that game, made it really, really fun. Like,
he did pull out of a couple of contests. And when you got your head over the ball and the ball's right there and you're challenging with a player and you don't go 100% at the ball, that's not a good look. But a lot of these rivalries, you know, they don't need more spice. A lot of these, you know, around the world we have huge rivalries that just sell themselves. The Liverpool, Manchester United, there's lots of them all around the world. The showdown sort of sells itself. But this helped, and it just added to the atmosphere. It added to the crowd. It added some spice. We need more of it.
It doesn't need to be sold. It doesn't need to be sold to the Adelaide fans, but it needs to be sold to the rest of the league, and that sold it to the rest of the league, I feel, because everyone's just like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen. And then the second he points to his teeth and does that, it's just like, oh, this is like a flashpoint in the game that actually makes it interesting.
Well, and I think what made it even more interesting is the fact that, yes, it's the showdown and everyone in Adelaide is going to be locked into it, but it's a team that's pushing for top four against a team that's a bottom four side. So you need something else to, if you're the casual footy fan sitting back on a Saturday night and there's two games on, you see the showdown, you go, oh yeah, it's showdown. It might be a little bit heated. And then you go, but Adelaide suck. Port Adelaide are really good. So it's just going to be smashing. So I'm not going to, but if you've got this in the lead up to it, you're going to go, I want to see how Port Adelaide are going to treat this kid in response to this. I expected a Port Adelaide bloke to flatten him Dermot Brereton style.
Yeah, for sure.
And just that for me is why I tuned in and watched the game, was because of what Rachele had said in the lead up to it, added so much spice onto it that I just expected Port Adelaide to come out gung-ho, and as soon as he got the ball, just four blokes just mobbing him.
Yeah. But this is honestly what I want to see in the game. I don't get where Kane Cornes has come from at all. To say he's a laughing stock of the league, like, get over yourself, mate.
Yeah, exactly. You're the laughing stock of the competition. You embarrassed yourself, and me. I could turn all of that right around back onto you, Kano. I'm sorry, mate. To me, this is a laughing stock, what he said. And we've got these guys that, to be blunt, we probably call them dickheads in the competition. These kind of shit stirrer guys, the Jack Ginivans, maybe Dusty Martin early in his career could be that kind of guy, maybe a De Goey, these sort of like, and for the most part, they back it up. They kick the goals, they give it to the opposition and whatever. But and if they're all going to be, straight down the line, spreading the coach's message and whatever, we're going to have a very bland sport. We need a bit of colour, and I'm all for it. More of it, Josh. Keep it coming.